Good morning, friends. Hello. How are you on this good day? Pray that you're well. Have a little mug up with you this morning. It is. This morning we could begin to feel the cool a little bit, the dampness and the coolness coming around, and um, it is the inevitable move towards fall that we just came into this week. This last Sunday was the first. This Sunday was the first Sunday of fall, and so we find ourselves in coming into a new season and a new time, you know. And yet, here we are. If you hear kind of bumping and banging outside, it is our erstwhile folks who are a part of our soup ministry that are picking up soup from Blount and that are going to be delivering it around the city, and the goodness of all that, and that it's just a reminder to me of this way that the seasons change and things change, and yet the love of God doesn't change, and that we are continuing and endeavoring to do the same in these days. So, hey, good morning, Vicky. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, give it one more sec here, and we'll get going. Good morning, Karen. Hello. All right, friends, let's get going this morning. It is the 25th day of September. We are in the last week of September on this Wednesday at 11:11, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're a part of this journey. I want to this morning. I want to spend a little time in Proverbs. Now, the book of Proverbs is this understanding of it was generally considered to be given to children in their studies as this if you're looking for how should I behave sort of stuff, like what are the rules, how should I live. Proverbs is a beautiful place to start. It gives it's a lot of really basic instructions of stuff on a lot of matters of just good common sense or good wisdom, as the ancients would say. And so and and it actually talks a lot about wisdom and wisdom in this idea of this archetypal idea, the way kind of Jung, the great psychologist Carl Jung understood it, in this kind of that it is this entity, this being, this kind of often referred to in the female, that proposes for herself a particular way of being, and that she is something for us to pursue. And so this is from the third chapter of the book of Proverbs. Blessed are those who find wisdom, and those who gain understanding. For she, again, they're referring to wisdom here, for she is more profitable than silver, and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. Left hand is riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and those who hold her fast will be blessed. This, this is this beautiful kind of image of what it is to pursue a relationship with wisdom. We're in the business of pursuing relationships. That's kind of how we are wired. We are also in the business of hiding from relationships. We relate to the things that we want to relate to, and we hide from the things that we just rather not, and we push those away. But these things. But it's incredibly powerful to look at the things that we would pursue, and this beautiful image of what it is to pursue wisdom brings us to, and so I want to, another level of this, which is this notion of the kind of the offspring of wisdom. So wisdom is said to have some children. She's said to have some sisters, in fact, or some those whom she kind of gives birth to. That, if you think about it in a sense, if we pursue wisdom, and so then in the pursuit, in the kind of finding her, there are things that get born in that, and that the things that get born are these three sisters: beauty and goodness and truth. Now these are ancient ideas, but they were worked over and they were really brought, I think, into modernity by a guy by the name of Hans Urs von Balthasar. Now there's a handle for you, huh? So, and this is really where I want to set us up for today. That Hans Urs von Balthasar, he was a good Catholic, became a Catholic priest. He became a Jesuit, then he became a Jesuit. He was incredibly talented. He was one of these guys that had perfect pitch, and even in early days he could do the entire some of the entire concertos of Mozart from memory. And so he had a line on beauty, and he actually spends a lot of time in his theological writings, which are prolific, on the subject of beauty, on the subject of this offspring of wisdom that is a part of our lives, and that he actually says, as I am wont and often to say, as our good Russian friend Dostoevsky once said, that beauty will save the world. Well, he thought of beauty in the same way. The beauty isn't just this thing that if you slap on enough makeup and you'll find a little bit of it. Beauty isn't just this thing that's in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is a thing that not only you pursue, but that pursues you, that impacts you. That if you think about the most beautiful things you have encountered in life, they punch you in the face. That whether it is a consort, a lover, a spouse, somebody that you fall in love with, there's a way when you encounter the beauty of that, and not just the fact that they're hot, but in the fact when you encounter the experience of that, it affects you, it gets you. But all beauty is the same way, that a piece of music, watching a child play, the fantastic architecture. We're getting ready to embark on an incredible journey here to preserve and restore our meeting house, and it is going to be no small task and no small thing. But it is but what I keep trying to consider and keep trying to encourage our folks that are embracing it and that are embarking on it is that part of this is the preservation and the pursuit of beauty. That if you come into our sanctuary, there's a way in which you are assaulted by the beautiful. And von Balthasar, who was born in 1905, he lives to 1988, so you can see the world that he lived through, particularly the European world. He's through the two world wars. And just incredible kind of journey that he went on in his life. And what he sees in modernity, and he writes directly at, and he pokes right at the modern experience and what we're a part of. If you look at the buildings that they were designed in the public sphere, for instance, our building built in 1912, or you look at the buildings that were born in the early part of the century, and then the buildings that get built later part of the century, and the way in which they transform and they change and they become brutal and they become a lot less beautiful. And it's not just in the eye of the beholder. It doesn't elicit the same things out of us. All of this is to get us to this quote that I've read it before. I read it again this morning. It was sent to me by a friend Ron out in Michigan, and it continues to afflict me. And it comes from an article by by a guy by the name of Trey Turpak. He's a pastor out there, but this, and he has a little commentary on it. But uh, this quote that Balthazar says about beauty and about where we find ourselves in the beautiful and what the beautiful really has to offer us. Uh, I want you to hear these words and you can let them sink in. We, and he's talking about us in the modern world, we no longer dare to believe in beauty, and we make it a mere appearance in order the in order the more easily to dispose of it. Our situation today shows that beauty demands for itself at least as much courage and decision as do truth and goodness. And she will not allow herself to be separated and banned from her sisters without taking them along with herself in an act of mysterious vengeance. Oh, I love that. This notion that beauty, when it comes to us, takes with her this notion of goodness and truth. That you can't look at what's beautiful and not know what is rightly ordered, what truth looks like, what the logos is, what the really real is, the things that endure beyond time and space in our lives. And at the same time, you can't know what goodness is. You can't know what affection really looks like. And also you confront and at the same time you'll even confront the opposite of it. So you know what it doesn't look like. And that in all of this, without taking them along with herself in an act of mysterious vengeance, beauty will not contend with our adulteration of it. You know this. You know this. You know that. You know that when we're in the act of creating something beautiful, the thing that sticks out, the thing that isn't beautiful, sticks out more and more, right? Like like if there's a weed in the garden, you weed your garden and you get it all right, and then there's one weed in it that it becomes more and more of an assault. It becomes more and more of a thing that the beauty actually comes this way of claiming its own self, and that the ugly actually becomes more and more ejected from it. It becomes more and more obvious in it, and that our situation today shows that, hear these words, shows that beauty demands for itself at least as much courage and decision to do as truth and goodness. And this is, Trey Turpak goes on to make commentary on this, and I want to read this to you today. He says this, he says, to really grasp what Balthazar is getting at, we can't think of beauty as we normally do, like some preference in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is something that happens to us, and we end up wanting more of it. It's not really something we can possess and analyze. Beauty is something we come to realize retrospectively and then love because it has transformed us in some way. Friends, my invitation to you today is to let beauty do her work in your life. Because truly, I think we're more and more that the more we are, in this, he died. Balthazar died in 1988. The world in which he was contending with, that we're contending with now, was just getting started then, in terms of the amount of images, the amount of noise, the amount of mistruths, the amount of lies, the amount of adulterations that we are getting assaulted with all of the time. That has only increased over since Balthazar's day. And so what then are we to do with it? What we have to do with it is to submit ourselves to beauty. Submit ourselves to it. Go look at something beautiful. Go listen to that which is beautiful. Go take into your body that which is beautiful. If if you get involved in anything, if in anything that you're trying to build or you're trying to do or you're trying to be a part of, what would the use as a rubric, use as a measuring stick, not what is expedient, not what can we afford, not what can, and I'm not saying ignore all those things. I'm saying, but the ultimate rubric of what we can look at is what would the beautiful solution look like? What would the beautiful solution to homelessness in our city look like? What would the beautiful solution to fighting drug abuse in our city? What would a beautiful solution of fighting pornography on the internet look like? What would a beautiful solution look like to the tending and care of our bodies and framing it that way, we begin to invite into ourselves a very different conversation. We begin to invite into ourselves actually all of those things that we found in Proverbs. That blessed are those who find wisdom and who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. We can do, and we are living in an age of incredible power and force. We can blow people up. We can put people in boxes. We can put people in prisons. We can move around the world in which, as human beings that have never been able to do, we can get in little tubes of aluminum and fly all over the place. We can order up any kind of food that we might imagine, and have somebody bring it to us. We have power beyond our expectation or knowledge, or more than any average person has ever had in their life. And yet in that power, and the pursuit of that is this brutality, because that's not what gives real gain, and that's not what gives real profit, and that's not what yields real returns. Because what does is those three sisters, the offspring of wisdom, beauty, goodness, and truth. I know I sound a lot like a philosopher today, and I hope that's not too much, but I really believe this in this way of changing how we might hear and think about the world, because modernity will wear us out. It is entirely too powerful. The movements are entirely too great that if we stand squarely in the storm of them, they will sweep us away. But if instead we but shift our gaze, we but look and pursue other things, it will have no purchase over us at all. And so, friends, I want to close today by hearing von Balthasar. God, it's such a great handle. Oh, what a good name, Hans Urs von Balthasar. His injunction to us about how we might be and how we might engage with and conspire with beauty in that act of mysterious vengeance for the true, the good, and the beautiful. Here are his words. We no longer dare to believe in beauty, and we make it a mere appearance in order the more easily to dispose of it. Our situation today shows that beauty demands for itself at least as much courage and decision as do truth and goodness, and she will not allow herself to be separated and banned from her two sisters without taking them along with herself in an act of mysterious vengeance. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.